There's something incredibly powerful that you can do to change your life starting right now. Now, most of us have some tragic experience or thing that happened to us in our past. And if you've ever been in love, chances are that your heart has also been broken. You know, many of us have got financial stress, and you might even be in a situation right now where, with everything that's going on in the world, that you are feeling completely powerless and helpless. And this is a very disempowering place to be in. And what happens, we look for something outside of ourselves to make us feel better, and you might even look for someone to blame. When we blame our circumstances and our past and our parents and, you know, our broken relationships, we're really disempowering ourselves. We're diluting our ability to create the life that we really want. So when you take responsibility for your life, what you actually are saying is, you're saying, you know, this is my life, and I am taking ownership of how I'm going to feel. I'm taking ownership of the things that I will allow to affect me, and I'm taking ownership for fighting for the things that I believe in. Part of taking responsibility for your life is realizing that there's an illusion out there that's being created, and a lot of times we buy into this illusion, right? Now, part of this illusion is this fake land, which is, you know, often also created by things like social media. And what happens is we buy into this fake land. So think about how often does it happen that before you even do anything with your life, you're on social media first thing in the morning and you look what is happening on Instagram, you know, what is everyone doing on Facebook. And the problem with this is that we end up comparing our lives to that of other people. We see the things that they have and that they portray, and we find that lacking in ourselves. And this feeds into our insecurity, and it feeds into a very big thing, which is our scarcity mindset. Our mindset to think that there is not enough for us, and that other people always have more and they get more and better things happen to them. The problem is that when we are in this mindset, there's no opportunity or possibility for us to create the things that we really want, because by the law of attraction, you are only going to create more of that which you vibrate in and which you find yourself. And if you have a scarcity mindset, that is more of what you will see showing up in your life. This leads into a victim mindset of putting the blame onto situations or, you know, the past or other people, to say that the reason why I am not able to move forward, the reason that I'm stuck, the reason why I'm not getting ahead in life is because of X, Y, and Z. It's always because of a situation outside of myself. And I know what I'm talking about here, because for a very long time, I used to, you know, buy into this victim mindset, and I always find something outside of myself to blame for the reason that I was unhappy, or the reason that, you know, my relationships didn't work out, or the reason that my career wasn't as successful as what I wanted it to be, or I didn't really enjoy what it is that I was doing, and the conflict that I had with people in my life. It was always because of them. You know, and I think this happens a lot more than we think. If you really go and look at your life, and you look at some of the conversations and the thought patterns you have, you might notice that there are so many instances where you are completely, you know, giving away your power, the role that you play in the situation and your part in it. And instead, you're just focusing on what the other person or the other party is doing wrong or not doing, and what you want them to do instead. And the truth is, we cannot change people. We cannot change circumstances. We cannot change the events. The only thing that we can change is how we respond to them. And then this is what this video is about then, is to talk about how do I take responsibility for my life? How do I move from this victim mindset where I blame events and people and my past for where I am today, and I try and find responsibility in there. So I have 3 perspectives that I want to offer you to take responsibility for your life and to shift into a new way of thinking. So the perspectives that I have, the first one is to say that it doesn't matter what happened to you. It doesn't matter what tragedy you experienced. It doesn't matter what you did wrong, and it doesn't matter what another person did to you. And I'm not saying that it's not important and that it's not valid that you are experiencing pain. It is completely valid, and if it happened to you, it did happen to you. But there is no growth potential and there's no power in holding on to that. You cannot change what happened. You cannot wish for something to have been different. But what you can do is, from this point right now, decide who are you going to be going forward. You know, if you made a big mistake somewhere in your life, who are you going to be right now? You don't need to carry the guilt and the shame of that mistake with you, because that also means that we're not taking responsibility for your life, for our lives. If you continue to walk around with feelings of guilt and shame about something that you did wrong, that is disempowering. So from this point in time, from right now, this is your point of power. We only have the present moment. And you can choose right now how you are going to think, how you are going to feel, and how you are going to behave. The second perspective is to say that you get to decide. You are the only authority in your life. And can you imagine how your life would be different if you began to trust yourself? If you began to trust your inner wisdom, if you began to trust that the experiences that you had were lessons that can help you guide the way that you are going forward. It can help you guide who you become right now. You get to choose who you want to be. You get to choose every day how you want to show up as. You get to choose what to think. You get to choose what to eat. You get to choose what information you take in. I could go on about this forever and ever. The point is, you get to decide what you want to create in your life. And it starts with you realizing that you've got the power. The choice is yours. You are the authority, and you can play in this universal playground and co-create the things that are important to you and that really matters to you. The third perspective is what you resist persists. So instead of having this inner conflict, instead of always fighting against the way that things are and against the reality of life, what you want to do is you want to release the resistance. You want to surrender into what is. And this is a very difficult concept. I know for many years in my life, I have hated the idea of surrender because I always thought that surrendering would make me weak. I thought that if I surrendered into the truth of what the reality is, if I surrendered and accepted the way that things are, it means that I have given up the fight. That's in fact not true at all, because the moment that you surrender into what is, you are now actually creating a point of neutrality. And it's from this point of neutrality that you can begin to create new opportunities, that new possibilities start to open up for you. As long as you resist, you're avoiding going within and doing the inner work. When you resist feeling your feelings, when you resist facing, your shadow, when you resist doing the inner work in order to clear and to heal and to break through your stuckness, then you will continue to remain in that point. So taking responsibility for your life means to accept where you are, accept who you are, get yourself neutral, and then the energy dynamic begins to change. And from this point, you can begin to create the things that you really want and deserve in your life. The fastest way to shift from a victim mindset mentality into a mindset of I can take responsibility for my life, I am responsible for my life and my emotions and my thoughts, is to realize that the point of power is right now. What happened to you in your past only holds the power over it that you give to it. All right? And when we become neutral, when we can take the emotional charge out of our relationship and our resistance into the truth of what is, it begins to open up new possibilities for us. You are the boss of you. Don't wait for anyone else to make your life better. You can do that for yourself.